everybody, this is Brian.
And I'm Logan, and this is Tops.
Sup? This is my brother, E-Pops. We just got him, don't lie. Sup, E-Pops?
And this is Bottoms, Tops, Middles, and we have a new son, everybody. We ordered him off eBay last week. We kind of hinted at him here and there, but this is E-Pops.
Yo, sup?
He's absolutely perfect. He's not quite like Tops, but he's pretty darn close. So make sure you welcome E-Bops in the comments. Say we love E-Bops. And we're Crash Cards! Hi team! Happy Wednesday! Boy oh boy, we got another budget video for you. We're going to talk about side deck today.
So yeah, we really wanted to talk about the side decks and stuff because this is a very, very open meta, especially right now. Not in the sense that like everything is playable, but in the sense that there is a brand new set, aka Battles of Legend Armageddon, which comes out tomorrow, so make sure that you guys stay tuned. We will be opening up half a case right here on the channel. We hope to pull all the good stuff. So
we probably won't. I really
Yeah.
want to pull the 10,000 Dragon or the like Astrograph Starlight
Utopia,
Utopia.
guys.
I really want to
Sweet.
pull it, but you guys know our reputation with Starlights is less than
Terrible.
stellar. Get it
Yeah.
right now.
I want all the Numeron stuff. It's going to be really awesome, and that's what we're referring to. The brand new Numeron cards could potentially be meta-breaking, so we wanted to go over side decks for what could be like control and what could be a combo format all in one. But before we do that, if you guys are not already a subscriber to
You
the
better
channel,
subscribe to the channel because honestly, Middles has been telling me lately that he's really sad that you in particular are not subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I can see you. You're sitting in your little chair. You've probably got like one leg up. Probably got your hand like this. You're probably tired. You've probably got a Mountain Dew or a Monster next to you.
and while you guys are down there, feel free to throw this video a like and comment any of your budget side deck options for this format.
We also have an Instagram. It's at CrashCardsYGO. It's really wonderful. We're on there all the time. It's Instagram, answering messages, posting posts, posting stories, doing pretty much everything. I post polls on that. It's Instagram. You know the spiel, but we're on there all the time. We also have a super wholesome Discord community. It's really wonderful. We Photoshop Tops and all the alpaca siblings onto things. We talk about food. We talk about anime. It's super duper fun. I really recommend it. I'm in there all day, pretty much every day. And then last but not least, if you want to further support the channel, we have a Patreon. It's really been bopping lately. We post side decks, we post bloopers at the end of every month, and guess what? July is coming to a close real soon.
It is soon.
Yeah, you can get merch, you can get deck building, you can get dueling sessions. There's a whole lot, so feel free to check it out. But if not, we're just happy you're here. And Top says he's really thankful too. So thanks for coming, baby. Mwah, kisses.
So this is a very, very highly requested video, both on the community page and all the comment sections of most of our videos over the last
Yeah.
couple weeks. So we figured we were going to try to do our best to bring you guys not only some budget side decks, but also some budget alternatives that you could use to some of these more expensive cards.
I love an alternative, right, Bloopy?
So that being said, we're going to start off with our budget options first and then head into the budget alternatives. So before we get into any of these options, if you guys want to pick up any of these cards, we have our TCG player link in the description box down below, or if we don't have them, please feel free to use our TCG affiliate link, which supports the channel directly for buying these cards you would already be going to get on your own anyways.
Isn't that so fun? So that being said, let's get those pennies popping, folks. So right now, some of the top decks are Eldritch, Emancipator, and Dinosaurs, and as we know, all of those decks rely on the graveyard in some degree or form, so our first option that we're going to talk about are ones that stop the graveyard or hinder banishing or things like that, and budget options for those are DD Crow, Artifact Lancia, and Called by the Grave. All of them are super strong right now. Called by the Grave is about, what, $5 for a common right now?
Yeah, I think it's the most expensive.
That's the
of all
most expensive of these budget three. Lancia, though, and DD Crow are...
Yeah, you can get them common,
Like
ultra
nothing,
rare,
like,
secret rare. Yeah, there's a bunch of different rarities for them. So, DD Crow, you can just banish any like Eldritch spell or trap in the graveyard that you know your opponent's going to try to set one with. So they go neg one with it, or it's just a 1-for-1 trade with you. You can also just Lancia for either like Emancipator or for Eldritch because they can't banish to set, or Emancipator can't banish to get their block dragon. And it also hurts Dinosaurs really bad because even though they search Double Evolution Pill as like one of the first things in their turn, they can't activate it now because they can't banish anything. So, or when they send the mist to grave, like, oh yeah, Lancia, that's it. Now they can't even manage to get the Archosaurus. So like,
Feels
it's
bad.
really painful. Lancia is a sleeper side deck card.
Yeah,
for
a
sure.
well-timed Lancia can end a turn.
Yeah, and
Lancia's
Orcus
so
too.
good.
I guess like Orcus is like kind of a deck still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
I think you can get the secret out of last year's Battles of Legend for like $2.
yeah, I think it's like $1.50 a piece.
It's super cheap. So like, it's a really...
secret.
So it's a really affordable affordable budget option for literally just stopping a turn for some of the like most meta decks right now.
I also feel like DD Crow and Call by the Grave have kind of fallen out of the favor both in the main deck and the side deck. Call by the Grave is just a little slow personally. You have to set it first or like going second. Like it's just it's not really a proactive card, it's more of a reactive card. So we personally would go with Lancia and Crow. And then that being said, moving on for some of those still more like meta e-combo decks, a lot of decks are still playing the Jet Synchron, Nido Fiber, Auroradon plays. There are two options that you guys can use to stop that are extremely inexpensive. So one of these options is actually a very, very underrated hand trap this format. I think we might pick up a couple ourselves, but it's Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries.
She's literally $1.
Yeah, and I think the secret rares are only like maybe $5 to $7 too. So Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, for any of you guys who may not know what she does, is when your opponent has, I think it has a monster or special summons a monster, you can ditch her to the graveyard and then show your extra deck or a card in your extra deck, and then if your opponent has the same card in their extra deck, you can just banish it and they don't get to use it, which is really, really strong. Like, I know that Nido Fiber is like $25, but typically the play is Nido Fiber going to Jet Synchron, and then if you want to have like a $3 Auroradon, that's way easier. Or I know a lot of people are going for Link Cross special summons out Marcher. You can get the $3 Metal Marcher, or Metal Marcher just gets them the Herald of the Arclight, so you can just have the Herald in your extra deck, and then Winter Cherries the Herald. They don't get the negate. They're stuck with the Link Cross, and now they're stuck with the Metal Marcher and a token that they can't link away, and then a synchro that they can't use anymore. So that's a really, really strong play. It stops them right there in their tracks, and for specific decks that don't have follow-up, it could just end the entire turn right there. And then the second option kind of does the same thing along the same combo line, is Token Collector. Whenever your opponent special summons a token, Token Collector specials himself to the field and then eats all the tokens, and then your opponent can't extend. So
yay, and then there's no more tokens for the rest of the turn. Yay!
I think you can get the ultra rares, like the actual promo cards, for like $1.50 each. So really, really cool. It comes common and rare, so you can pick them up for less than $1 for an entire playset too.
Next up are just budget options for more of anti-combo sort of things, because obviously combo is very prevalent right now. Pretty much everyone's playing combo. Everyone's Needle Fiber turboing. So these are just cards that you can set and hopefully stop your opponent from doing what they're about to do. So these side deck options for anti-combo are going first cards, but the good news is since you're going into game 2 or 3, you know whether you're going to be going first or second. So obviously,
you know what to decide.
Yeah, but the three options that we think are the best right now are Summon Limit, pretty much any Floodgate in general, and Inspector Border.
Yeah. Floodgates really, really hurt. Being a combo player, like, I had a Summon Limit flipped on me this weekend, and that was it. Like, if I didn't have Red Reboot, I lost the game. So, yeah, Summon Limit is super painful. Border is awful. And then just any other Floodgate, like Goes and Match, Rivalry, that stuff, that can stop an entire turn, or even end an entire game.
Yeah, Border kind of falls in and out of side decks for a lot of like control decks and stuff like that, just because like he's not always like the best side deck choice, especially because you have to play 3 of him and like you gotta
a hard draw it, but still, if you do, GG fam.
Yeah, if you can see him going first and like just sit on him, amazing. But Summon Limit phenomenal right now, because if you can resolve it in the standby phase, like what's the Adamantipator gonna do?
Yeah,
like, what are they gonna do?
Pretty tough.
And then just any Floodgate in general right now. There can be only one.
Oh, that card needs to go.
I know we hate the card, but it's really strong. It's really so take it with what you will, fam.
And then moving on, speaking of control decks, we have a few options for control decks, one of which is Trap Trick. If you're not already main decking the card, you could side it just so that you ensure you see 6 copies instead of the 3, but you could also play Artifact Sanctum, which is kind of like a Buster Lock without having to play the Union Carrier and the Buster Lock combo. So what Sanctum does is it allows you to just flip it and then special summon an Artifact monster directly from your deck. So if you go for Scythe, your opponent is locked out of the extra deck for an entire turn, and sometimes that's just enough to cripple an entire strategy.
Yeah, and Sanctum's literally getting reprinted in the Battles of Legends set, so it's like $2.
Not even.
It just became super duper affordable. So get your hand on some Sanctums so that then you can play it, and then your opponent can't play. It's super fun, super great. We love it.
And just to go off of what we said before too, Artifact Sanctum can also grab you a Lancia, and then you can Lancia your opponent right then and there too. So having multiple options for one card is really, really good. And then last for some of our options, that was an offensive play, but a more defensive play if you are playing a control deck. Control decks, you know, are typically set 5 pass.
Wow.
In order to protect your back row from being destroyed, you can play cards like Backjack and then Dark Sacrifice.
So if you don't know what Dark Sacrifice does, basically whenever your opponent goes to destroy something on your side of the field, it doesn't have to be a monster or a trap, it can be anything on the field that they are trying to destroy. You can activate Dark Sacrifice and send a level 3 or lower Dark Monster from your deck to your graveyard and negate the effect.
Pretty darn strong. And then the reason you would play Backjack is because you could send the Backjack, and if you are playing a trap heavy deck,
Backjack allows you to excavate 3, look at it, if there's a normal trap, you can set it to the top of your deck, and then you can quick effect banish Backjack, and then you can set that trap and activate it in the same turn.
it's insane.
Busted.
You
Love
go like,
me so good.
You go like plus 40 and your opponent goes -2.
Really good in Paleo.
It's really strong. But that being said, that wraps it up for our budget options. Now let's go into some of our budget alternatives.
But if there's any budget options we missed, let us know in the comments.
For sure. So starting off for our alternatives, probably one of the most obvious choices is a Lightning Storm. This is a
Yeah.
$135 card
Yeah.
still. It is a built-in Harpy's Feather Duster or a Raigeki. It's absolutely incredible. But some of our budget options, a lot of people do play the Lightning Storm, not for the field wipe, but for the back row wipe. So that being said, a really, really decent budget option is Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, other just back row removal. I know the Twin is kind of getting up there. I think Cosmic,
Yeah.
like the secret rares, are almost $10, but you can get the commons or the ultra rares for just under $1 still.
Or you could play Hey Trunade, because that just bounces all back row back up to the hand. It really
Yeah.
sucks. I've had that used against me a lot because
Yeah.
I never expect it, and it's just like, oh, it doesn't send them to the grave, which would be really helpful in some situations, but it's
Like
like,
Eldritch.
they're just back in my hand now. I can't do anything with these hands.
And like going second, it just forces your opponent to either chain all 5 of them,
Yeah.
or like if you're playing an OTK deck, which most decks that can go second can do, you basically just win the game for
Yeah.
free because your opponent doesn't have set cards any longer.
Yeah. Hey Trunade.
But then if you are looking for like the monster interruption, I mean,
If you want to be sacky as hell.
it's at 3. You can play Dark Hole, or you can play the 1 copy of Raigeki. Arguably, Raigeki can probably come back to 3 also. No one's playing them, but they are board wipes.
What do you mean, Raigeki White Fang game? Next up is another card that is still very expensive despite having had multiple reprints in the last year, and that is Infinite Impermanence. So this one wasn't super hard to think of budget options for. I mean, Imperm's obviously really great. You can activate it from your hand. It's probably one of the best hand traps in the game to this day.
Easily.
But there are a lot of effect negating options that are out there that are very significant budget options. So first things first, Effect Veiler. Obviously it sucks because you can only use Effect Veiler on your opponent's turn, but I mean Effect Veiler is OG. We all know Effect Veiler is pretty darn good.
And Effect Veil and Imperm have the same clause where they are not a hard once per turn, so that is beneficial. Keep that in mind. If you open 2, you can still stop 2 things.
And then if you're playing a trap control deck, you could always play Breakthrough Skill. I played that in my failures for a while. It's a really good card. Also negates effects.
Yep. And it's a normal trap, so you can trap trick it out.
And then speaking of normal traps, you could also play Lost Wind. Unfortunately, you have to target a special summon monster, so you can't use it on their normal summon. Again, budget options tend to be a little more stipulation heavy. But Lost Wind is still super strong because it can reset itself. I wouldn't recommend using Titanicider even though it's new and it like puts the attack to 0 because it has to target something from the extra deck, so I wouldn't recommend Titanicider. It's a little too specific. And then last but not least, a kind of spicy sort of card that we've been teching into our side deck lately that's definitely budget now
And
is...
you would know if you were on Patreon, because all of our side decks are on Patreon. Check out the Patreon.
But it's Widowmaker, yeah. So you can only play 2 of it, but I mean,
It's super good.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's Widowmaker. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's like playing your second and third copy of Mind Control going second. It's
yeah.
really, really strong.
And it negates effect. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
there's a lot of really good effect negating options, so you don't have to rely on Imperm.
Mm-hmm.
Or Perm's good, but who needs it?
And then next we have 2 cards that kind of can be interchangeable depending on your matchup, but it is Nibiru and Dark Ruler No More. For Nibiru, obviously one of the most generic options would be a Sphere Mode. Sphere Mode, arguably, in different matchups can be stronger because you can top deck it as your 6th card and still clear a board. When people are playing cards like Nibiru or Dark Ruler No More, it's typically to shut off those like 15 negate boards where there's 6 monsters on field. So Sphere Mode can clear like the Appaloosa, the IP, and the Savage Dragon, and then you realistically just have to play through like 1 interruption. So that's really, really strong.
But it does kind of suck because you then lose your normal summon, so you kind of have to weigh your options, know how to interact with it.
And we do know that Sphere Mode is kind of like a $4 to $5 card, so a $15 playset. If you want a different option that might be a little cheaper, you could go, instead of clearing 3 monsters, you can clear 2 with like a Lava Golem, or you could even clear 1 with a Kaiju.
Yeah, Kaijus are always a great staple option. Like, Kaijus are...
They're great.
Yeah, like, they're always in the side deck for a lot of decks, and I think they're really strong. I mean, they're free.
Yeah, and then for Dark Ruler No More, I know that there's not really like a budget option
Yeah.
yet, but that being said, for all of our budget players out there, we did get news that it is officially getting a reprint in the Charmer structure deck, which should be out in a couple months.
November-ish, hopefully.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact date.
But it comes out as a common, so in a couple months, you guys will be able to pick up 3 of them
Woo,
for
common.
probably less than $1.
Heck yeah, who needs max rarity when you can have the lowest rarity? Another alternative to Dark Ruler isn't really an alternative to Dark Ruler, but
Yeah.
I mean, Pankratops is a good card. It's at 1, which kind of sucks.
Yep.
But special summons itself when your opponent controls more monsters than you do, tributes itself to pop a card.
Yeah.
Still really strong. Obviously does not have the same effects as Dark Ruler, but we just gotta wait on Dark Ruler team.
Yeah, I mean, you could also just special beat over a card and then tribute to pop, so it can clear 2 cards, so it's at 1, but it's better than nothing.
It's hard because Dark Ruler is one of those cards that you like can't respond to with monster effects. It's super strong, so we kind of just need to wait on the reprint. And then next up we have a card that is a really good counter to pretty much every side deck card like Lightning Storm, Nibiru, Dark Ruler No More. And it's been seeing a lot of play lately despite having only 1 printing, and that card is a Pointer of the Red Lotus. Now, it's like a $20 common. That's like a $60 playset. It's absolutely insane. This card has no official reprint announced, which really sucks because
we really need Konami to reprint
people are
this.
scrambling to get this card to play it because basically you pay 2,000 life points, your opponent reveals their hand, you literally just rip a card out and banish it.
Any problematic card for 2 turns, that card's gone.
You
Bye
just
bye.
get to pick it. So
Yeah.
Dark Ruler, buy. Nibiru, buy. Anything, buy.
So the reason that this is almost a $20 common is because it allows you to see that 6th card that your opponent draws. So if they do draw that Dark Ruler No More or that Spear Mode in their draw phase or standby phase, you can flip it, see their entire hand, and then just banish any problem that you would see.
Oh, it's so funny because they'd be like, oh yes, I drew my side card, and it's like, psych,
Just
give
kidding.
me your side card.
It's really painful.
But good news is there are some alternatives to this card. They obviously are not as ridiculously strong as a Pointer is, but they kind of do the same thing, just in a little slower of a form.
So for any of y'all out there who may be scared of your opponent top decking that Lightning Storm or that Dark Ruler No More, you can flip Anti-Spell. And Anti-Spell says that all spell cards must be set before activating. So you're totally free. You don't have to worry about it. Even if they have it, even if they top deck it, as long as you saw the Anti-Spell, you're free to go, fam.
Yeah.
Free to go.
So even though Anti-Spell isn't really exactly like a Pointer, we do have a card that is very much like a Pointer. It's just a little slower, and it is a normal spell. It's DD Designator. You can get it, common or super?
Yeah.
It's an
2
older
rare.
card. Yeah. But it's really strong, minus the fact that it's a little slower. But basically, you call a card name, your opponent reveals their hand, and if they have the card, they banish it. But if they don't have it, this is where the stipulation kind of sucks. You have to banish a card randomly out of your hand.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't care about your hand, like, that's whatever, but it's random, so, like, that's terrible. Like, whereas a Pointer, you just pay 2,000 life points. It seems a lot more free, quote-unquote, than, like, banishing a card that you might need for your life and your combo and your control and all that. Fun fact, I played DZ at a YCS, and I played DD Designator against him, and I thought I was so OP for playing it, and he was like, oh, and, like, he did the little ZZ, oh. But it didn't work out, and he just chained, I think he chained Multi-Faker or Silk or something, and I just, like, almost cried. I was like, okay, cool. I thought I was so big brain, because he was like, I'm going to add this to hand, and I was like, haha, I'm going to play my card and activate it, and then he just changed stuff, and it's Altergeist. But thanks, DZ, for letting me use that card one time and not resolve it.
And then the last card is a very underrated and sleeper card. It actually came out in the Zombie Horde structure deck, and it is Dragged Down into the Grave. Dragged Down into the Grave allows you to see your opponent's hand, they see your hand, and both players get rid of 1 card, and then both players draw a card. So really, really cool. It almost, you give your opponent another card, but like if you do see that card that's a problem, you can get rid of it, and then you can activate it whenever you want. So if you have like 4 or 5 cards in hand, play the ones that are going to matter, and then let them get rid of the only card that doesn't.
But then it's problematic because they could top deck another really strong card that's in their side deck, so it's like, So between DD Designator and Drag Down, it's...
DD Designator, go for that one.
Yeah, DD Designator is probably the stronger one, but man, it's tough finding alternatives. But those are things that take cards out of hands. And then we have the last card on our list that we have an alternative for. It's one that was really rough to find an alternative for because there really isn't one that's like as strong as it or really does the same thing in general. But as a control player, when I set 5 and pass and expect to win a game, it feels really bad when I get evenly
End
matched.
of battle phase.
Yeah, it's like words no control player ever likes to hear coming at them.
Yeah.
So evenly matched. It's a really hard card to find an alternative for. Like, there's nothing that's just like, oh, activate it from your hand, screw your battle phase, banish things face down. Like, the card's nutty. It's not really seeing a ton of play in side decks right now. It's kind of falling out of favor just because there's so many negate everything boards that it's like, why bother siding it? It's just going to get negated.
Evenly has basically become that like back row removal card because for those who cannot afford the lightning storms, you can still like lose a battle phase and then activate evenly, banish your opponent's entire back row. So it's more like a back row removal card because you can just activate it. Savage can negate it, Herald can negate it. Like there's counter traps in most meta decks now. So yeah, I mean like it's more of a back row removal card at this point.
I would argue that like evenly matched has become the budget to lightning storm,
Yes.
but both of them are still not budget cards. So
No.
see where we're at in the state of Yu-Gi-Oh! But we tried to find some sort of alternative because it is typically used against the back row. I mean, obviously it's used for both, but in the case of back row, a card that you could play instead of evenly is Denko Sekka.
Yep.
Because that card sucks. That card feels bad.
Normal summon Denko, smirk, and bye.
It's like, oh, I don't have a judgment, so this really sucks. But it feels really bad. Obviously, it doesn't really do anything against monsters, but
Yeah. It does use your normal summon, which kind of stinks, but like that being said, a lot of decks out there can function without a normal summon, so...
But if you guys have an option for evenly matched that's an alternative, let us know, because we really struggled to find one that was as effective, because, man, some of these cards, there's just nothing that's as effective. So again,
Red
stipulations, reboot,
Maybe.
but one...
Yeah, at 1.
It's
Bring it
rough.
to 3.
Yeah, it could go to 3. I don't see why not. I don't know. But that's the alternative list, team. Like, that's what we got. Hopefully this worked out for you guys. If you liked some of these tech options, of course, let us know if you have other options. We don't know every card in the world. We certainly do not. We've only been playing for a year and a half.
Especially these older cards, too.
But we really do enjoy doing these budget videos. We just started doing these about a week or 2 ago. And so let us know if you like them as well. If you'd like us to do another one.
And what you would like that budget video to be.
Yeah. But stay tuned for Battles of Legend Armageddon opening tomorrow. It's going to be a good time. Put some good vibes in the comments and let Logan know she's going to pull a Starlight Rare.
And maybe there'll be a giveaway.
That'd be really nice. Ooh, maybe there'll be a giveaway. Ooh. Ooh. Who wants that hot, spicy box that probably has the Starlight in it? I do. Oh yeah, make sure you say hi to E-Pops. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you had fun. Put your stuff in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff. I love you. Mwah. Kisses. Alright boys, say bye. Bye. Well, we love you. You matter. See you tomorrow, team.
Bye,